Today here in NBA 2K26, we will be doing a Utah Jazz offseason rebuild. They finished up as the last place team in the West at a 22-60 record, so our goal today is to turn this Jazz team into a championship contender. Now, before we get into today's video, YouTube does tell about 55% of the people that watch these videos aren't actually subscribed, so if you do fall in that 55%, want to change that, that'd be greatly appreciated. So despite the record during the regular season, the Utah Jazz did make an aggressive trade to bring in Jaren Jackson Jr. at the trade deadline, so it seems like this team is tired of tanking and they will be ready to compete next year. So basically all I got to do is carry out Danny Ainge's plan and we're going to see what we can do with it. So this should be a pretty talented team, especially with whoever we add in the draft. So as long as we get lucky in the draft, this one should be a fairly easy one to do, I feel like. But let's go ahead and simulate to the finals with all the series up to date. And you got the Pistons and the Thunder making it, the two first seeds, no surprise. And the Thunder go back to back as they beat the Pistons in 5 games. Now, unfortunately for the Utah Jazz, I feel like as of late in the lottery, they have not been extremely lucky at all. They've fallen out of the top 3 a few times, I think, if I remember correctly. So we have the 5th best odds here. So we'll see if we can get lucky to start this rebuild or not. And we will end up with pick number 4. So, hey, at least we have a top 4 pick. Cannot complain about that. Dallas gets number 1 again. That's actually kind of crazy. So Dallas, Brooklyn, and then the Pacers will get their pick back. We'll be picking a number 4. So it's a lot better than dropping to 6 or 7 or something like that. So I really can't be complaining too much. So we'll go be picking at number 4. We'll see who falls to us there. And we should be off to a solid start in this rebuild. But got to fix the Clippers having the Pacers pick because, of course, that is no longer correct. So jumping into this 2026 draft, we're going to see how the board falls to us. And we'll kind of take best player available at number 4 if I had to guess. I really don't have anybody in mind. So we have Pearson going to Dallas. So that's going to make the Mavericks pretty good. Of course, a team we'll have to deal with later on, assuming we become a contender eventually. Brooklyn's going to take Cameron Boozer. I assume the Pacers are going to take DeBonza, and they do. So I kind of figured that Caleb Wilson could be an option, or we could take Darius as well, which I wouldn't hate to do necessarily. Could kind of have our point guard, I guess, if we wanted to. What's the best thing to do here? Because we obviously have Jaren Jackson marketing, so our front court is pretty good right now, and Ace Bailey also, of course, too. So I'm actually thinking of taking Darius here instead, and I think that's what I'm going to go with this. So I'm going to take Darius instead of Caleb Wilson, simply because all of what we already have anyway, you know, in the front court right now. So we'll walk away with Darius Acuff out of Arkansas instead of Caleb Wilson, and we'll see what that gives us. But he's a 78 overall at pick number 4. Really happy with that pick, and he should be a really good player throughout this rebuild for us. We're going to accept all these team options, but we will definitely potentially be trading some of them at the trade deadline, with some of them needing extensions soon. I also plan on re-signing Walker Kessler as well, so we can just go ahead and get that done. So Kessler, I'm going to go ahead and give a 4-year deal to. 15 million a year sounds kind of what it could be for him, so I'm fine with that. So we'll get Walker Kessler, and I think that might be all we do this offseason because, like I said, they already made their big move at the trade deadline by trading for Jaren Jackson Jr. Of course, I'll have to kind of figure out how I'm going to set this rotation exactly, but where it's at right now is going to be pretty similar to what I would want to run it with. So the only thing is maybe moving one of these guys to shooting guard. And yeah, so I think we just kind of carry out what the Jazz have right now, and we're going to see how they do in year number 1. I am a little scared because Jaren Jackson, I don't know why, but from what I've noticed, when I've done rebuilds with Jaren Jackson on my team, things usually do not go too well. I don't know if it's because he's a terrible rebounder, but I don't know. We'll have to see. So let's go to player progression. Let's see what's going on here. So you have Ace Bailey up to an 84, 84 Kessler, 80 Cody Williams. So you do have a lot of progression, which is good. And as far as our future draft picks are concerned, we do have our pick next year, which is good. So that's awesome. I think we would have had other picks, but obviously the Jazz made the trade for Jaren Jackson Jr. But let's go look at the rotation going into year number 1. We'll see how things look. Like I said, this Jazz team is probably going to want to compete at least this year, and this team should be decent enough to at least be a play-in team, if that. So we'll see if it works out that way. So to me, if you look at this rotation, it looks pretty talented. You got Keontae George, Ace Bailey, Lauren Markkinen, Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, Isaiah Collier, Sensabaugh, Filipowski, Cody Williams, and then Darius, which of course will run a 10 rotation to give him some minutes as well in his rookie season. So he'll be the 10th guy off the bench, but I think this team should at least be a play-in team in theory with the talent that we have. But as I mentioned, we really can't for sure expect that. We have Will Hardy still as head coach. We're power ranked at 26th overall. If we look at the shot tendencies, I'm thinking about not touching them in year 1 because Jaren Jackson's going to have a high shot tendency. Markins is going to be decent. I think if we can give Ace Bailey a little bit of a boost, I think that'd be nice too. So I'll give him like a 71 at least. And yeah, something like that. So power rank giving us 26 though does not give you a lot of hope and promise. Now the best thing about this though, even if we do suck, which for some reason I have a gut feeling we will, we have our pick. So there's nothing to be overly upset with there. But all right, let's go ahead, submit to the end of year one, or if we stop the trade deadline, I'll show you. But let's see what happens after the Jazz traded for Jaren Jackson Jr. So Victor Wembanyama is going to win MVP. Peterson's your Rookie of the Year for the Dallas Mavericks. Kobe White, sixth man in Charlotte. Wemby is your DPOY, and most improved goes to Ricochet. Curry's your clutch player, and Mitch Johnson is your Coach of the Year. So kind of what my gut feeling was ended up being correct. For whatever reason, this team was not good at all. Like, really bad, actually. Kessler makes all offensive second team, but it really didn't matter. And we get Darius Acuff also on a all-rookie second team, which is nice and all. But yeah, if you truly look at it, with a team that made the trade for Jaren Jackson Jr., this is not the results you'd want to see. I'm not surprised, though. Like I said, I feel like Jaren Jackson is truly a cursed player in 2K. I don't know if I'm the only one who experiences that, but I don't know what it is, man. I feel like every time I've had him on a team, he just brings everyone down. I don't know why. But yeah, unfortunately, 24-58 is not what we wanted. So very unfortunate, but let's go ahead and see who goes on to win a championship. So I do think we're going to have to make some major changes this offseason based off the record we just got. But you got the Spurs and the Pistons, and the Spurs will beat the Pistons in 5 games to win a championship with Wemby already. But as I said, the good news is at least we have our draft pick, and they didn't trade like their unprotected 2027 for Jaren Jackson or anything like that. We have the second best odds, so let's go ahead and see if we can stay in the top 3 potentially. And no, we fall to 6. So what we didn't want happen last year, it happened this year. So that's kind of unfortunate. The Pacers also get to keep their pick again, so I guess they were bad all over again, which is interesting. But yeah, not a great start to this particular video so far, I will say. We have the 6th pick. We have Will Hardy still as head coach, and it makes me wonder if we should fire him and go in a different direction based off the fact that we were as bad as we were. But I'll give him one more chance, and if we are bad again, then we might have to really think about doing something there. But let's head to draft night. Let's pick a number 6, and then I think we pretty much are going to have to trade someone. I don't think we can run this roster back and be like, okay, 24-58 was just a fluke. No, something needs to change here. So let's go soon and get at pick number 6 first, though. So number 1 is going to be Cameron Williams to Memphis. Number 2 is going to be Stefan to the Pacers. Tyron Stokes goes to Washington. Hugo goes to Houston. And the Sixers take Caleb Gaskin. So we are left on the board with Bruce, which, yeah, I think that's who we might take, but we'll see. There's McCoy as well. We just took a guard last year, so I don't think I really want to do that again. Or we could take Christian Collins, which I think that's where I'm going to go with this. So we're going to get Christian Collins here. We also have a 2nd round pick as well, so let's see what we can do there. Jason Crow Jr. or Caleb Foster, or yeah, we'll just take Caleb Foster here and feel pretty decent about that. So we have Christian Collins and Caleb Foster coming in. Player options, we're going to accept all of these, and then we got to figure out who we're going to trade away. Sensabaugh and Keontae George are both free agents, which of course I have interest in re-signing George for sure, but Sensabaugh we'll see. But I want to trade one of the forwards here, and it's more than likely going to be Jaren Jackson Jr. Even though in theory he is younger than Markkanen. Again, I don't know, man. It's some weird there. I mean, they're both not rebounding very well, to be honest with you. So ideally you get rid of both of them eventually, but one of them has to go at least right now. Maybe it is Markkanen because they did just trade for Jaren Jackson. We're kind of thinking realistically, but one of them has to go. That's the thing. So we're going to try to trade one of them and see what we can get in return, if anything at all. So I actually like this trade quite a bit from the Philadelphia 76ers. Reason being is because we're getting off Markkanen's contract in general, and we're getting a power forward who can actually develop really well as someone who could be a bench piece or maybe even a starter in the future for all we know. So I actually kind of like this trade. If I could somehow squeeze a first out of them as well, then this would be a slam dunk. I have no idea if they'll do that though. So they want, yeah, sign me up. So we're going to get Paul George's big contract, but it's an expiring one. So I'm not mad at that. He'll be here for a year, then he's gone after that. So I really can't be upset. Markkanen has 2 years left, and maybe the Sixers want to try something different than Paul George. So yes, absolutely sign me up for that. So Paul George will probably be out of the rotation entirely or something like that. But very happy with that first trade. And I think that's going to change things up a little bit for us. So Jaren Jackson, Paul George for now, but of course, like I said, he's not part of our long-term plans or anything. And all we need to do now is just re-sign Keontae George, and we'll probably re-sign Sensabaugh as well, because like Cody Williams and Collier are probably 2 guys I might be trading at the trade deadline because I don't really have plans to re-sign them, but we'll see. So I'm going to give Keontae George his extension. It's worth quite a bit of money. If I can give him like a 3-year deal, I'd feel a little bit better about that. So something along the lines of that would make me feel a little bit better, and he is going to accept it. So $30 million a year doesn't sound terrible in this economy. And then I'm going to resign Sensabaugh as well to a similar deal, like 3 years for $10 million a year. So, okay. I think that was a very interesting offseason, but it was one that I felt was necessary. So now I'll be going in with Keontae George 88. Cody Williams is up to an 83. Ace Bailey not moving at all is kind of interesting, but I'm assuming that'll change as we keep going. Darius is probably going to start next year somehow, some way as well. So we'll have to figure out how we're going to do that. But I think with the, of course, you know, Markkanen gone, we slide Ace Bailey to the 3, who's 6'9", could definitely play there and give him a little bit of a higher shot tendency as well this year. So we'll see if Markkanen being traded away changes anything for us. I have no idea if it will, but last year was unacceptable, so we had to change something. So here's what we're rocking with in year number 2. So you have Darius Acuff, Keontae George in the backcourts together with Ace Bailey, Jaren Jackson, Walker Kessler, Isaiah Collier, Cody Williams, Filipowski, Sensabaugh, and Haynes here. So unfortunately, guys like Christian Collinson's rookie year will not be playing, and Paul George also not playing, of course, because, you know, if I could, I would just buy him out, but 2K would automatically stretch him, and I'm not dealing with that. So, yeah, I don't even really want him on the team. I mainly did it just dump Markkanen out of here, and then, of course, the guy we got is actually getting some minutes as well, up to a 79 overall, so not too bad. The only other thing I want to look at here is what shot tendencies are looking like. Jaren Jackson's, I'm going to bring his down quite a bit, see if that will change anything at all, and then Ace Bailey, I want to give him the opportunity to be as good as he possibly can for what he was drafted for, so something along the lines of that should be good, as Darius is going to also have a decent shot tendency. So, all right, guys, it's 22nd overall. It would be really nice if this team kind of was able to do what they're supposed to do. But again, we shall see. We're off to a 1-0 start, but then we've lost the next 3. We'll see. We could be mid. We could be bad again. It just all depends. But yeah, as you can see so far, it's just not going well at all. This is going to sound kind of insane, but with how bad we are, I just want to get Jaren Jackson off the team. I feel like it's his fault, and it's just a theory I have in my head, and I've hinted at it all video, but I'm just going to simply dump him. I'm not expecting to get much for him. I'm getting AD, which is a good player, don't get me wrong, but basically what's going on here is AD is an expiring contract, so basically Paul George and AD will both be gone. We're not re-signing either of them. We'll hand the keys to our young core, but it seems like Markkanen and Jaren Jackson, mainly Jaren Jackson, just wasn't somebody I want to keep going forward. If I can in fact get a pick out of them as well, I would love to. Okay, we're not getting a 2028 pick, but you know, a man can try. We'll see. They're going to counter me. They want my Utah 2029. I could do that because I could definitely see us being better in 2028, or sorry, 2029. Should I do that though? I could take that gamble and we just get a pick out of Jaren Jackson at the very least. You know what? I'm down for it. Let's do it. Let's take that gamble. We get off Jaren Jackson. AD will walk, but we're getting an unprotected 2028 first in this draft. So Jaren Jackson should make them worse as well. AD will start for us for the rest of the year. He's not part of the long-term plans or anything, but 13 and 37. It's inexcusable. This team is not working, so I feel like we got to go to drastic measures. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if this team started to win a little bit more as well. But, you know, AD is older, so he's usually not the best simulation player either. So I'll see you guys at the end of the season. Next year, though, I plan on hopefully being a team that can compete. So the one good thing we could take away from this is Darius Acuff did win most improved player, so at least we're happy with that. Here is your All-NBA first team, All-NBA second, All-NBA third team. So not a lot to love, but AD, he made all of it the second team for us, sure. Of course, he will not be on this team after the season, but let's take a look at the stats. You had 19 from Ace Bailey, 19 from George, 16 from Darius, and 12 and 7 from AD, 12 from Collier, and 10 from Sensabaugh, and Filipowski with 8 and 6, and then Walker Kessler with 7 and 10. But let's see who goes on with the championship next year. Hopefully we'll at least be a play-in team, if nothing else, but a playoff team would be nice too. The Brooklyn Nets have already gone and won a championship. Jalen Green comes over there, and they have Boozer as well, and they got Jalen Duren. So shout out to Brooklyn putting together a championship team already in their, you know, particular state. I also need to add the expansion teams, and then we'll focus on what the rest of the offseason will look like. So we actually have 2 picks projected potentially be in the top 4 with Washington's and Utah. So let's go ahead and see if we're going to walk away at all with a top 3 pick or something like that. So we get number 3, and Washington's pick fell to 8. So not bad. They got Jaren Jackson for pick 8, I guess. But we'll have a top 3 pick in this draft. We already have some talent we're excited about, but it does not hurt to add even more. I think I am moving on from Will Hardy as well. I don't think it's justified to keep him any longer based off how we've been. So we'll leave him or lose him. We'll go out for, you know, maybe we could reunite with Quinn Snyder in Utah. I don't know if he would want to be down for that. I'm offering 3 coaches really good jobs in Redick. Always someone who accepts my job offers right away. So happy to have JJ Redick as our coach. And now we can go to the protect players portion of this part. So Foster, I guess, is going to be the only one that we're not going to be protecting. That sounds good to me. And he might get taken from us. He may not. We'll see. And then we walk in here with, like I said, 2 picks and 3 and 8. So we should be pretty good here. So the Bulls take Marcus Spears, and the Lakers are going to take CJ Roster, which is not surprising to see that at all. And at this point, we can kind of just take whatever we want. So we could take a center here, but I think I might go in and take Nathan off the bench here to start things off with out of France. And then at pick 8, we can take Lincoln Cosby or Ratliff, who I guess I had a chance at. I'll go ahead and take him here as well out of USC. So Two forwards coming in. We'll see what they look like in 78 and 74 already, which is nice. So that should make our team even stronger. So it's going to be a very, good group of young guys. I may resign Cody Williams and Collier, depends on what they're wanting. And then Kyle Filipowski, we'll see on him as well. Probably will bring back Filipowski. So that's one I'm for certain I'll bring back. Who's the one asked for 23 million? Oh, AD. Yeah, we're not bringing it back. Nor Paul George. So let's see if we want to bring back Collier and Cody Williams at all. So we have no backcourt depth, so it could make sense to bring them back. Although we do have some guys we could shift over, like Sensabaugh. I could probably slide over to the 2-guard. We did just bring in a power forward, so maybe we don't bring back Cody Williams, and Filipowski I will bring back. So I think if we just re-sign Collier, I think that'd be enough if I had to guess. So that's probably all I'm going to focus on is just Collier and Filipowski. We'll let Cody Williams walk. So now that those two guys are re-signed, I'm pretty happy with how this looks going to player progression. So we'll look at it all together. But you have Ace Bailey up to an 87, 86 Darius Acuff, 86 Walker Kessler, 83 Mr. Haynes Steinbach. You got 82 Sensabaugh, 80 Christian Collins, who will be a nice bench addition this year, and Filipowski up to an 82 as well. And probably the rookies we took probably won't crack the rotation too much this year, but I'm assuming that this team will finally get something going with Jaren Jackson out of the equation and Markkanen being gone as well. It is fully going to be all on the young guys to kind of show us something here. We also have a new head coach that could help as well. We shall see. Let's go look at this rotation and see if things will finally come together or not, because so far has not worked out very well at all. So the only unfortunate part is power rank once again is not the highest on us, which is not a good sign, but we'll see if maybe it will be different during the season or not. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to a perimeter centric and see what that can do for us, up to a 3.5 proficiency. We'll move Redick over there, and then we just got to figure out, what the shot tendencies look like. And this team hopefully will at least be a play-in team. That's all I'm hoping for at this point. But it's Darius, Keontae George in the backcourt, Ace Bailey, Haynes here, Kessler, Isaiah Collier, Filipowski, Sensabaugh, Collins, and Nathan. The good thing is we have so many good prospects that are only going to continue to get better. Shot tendencies, though, we know Ace Bailey, and so Ace Bailey and Darius Acuff have some high shot tendencies, and Collins has a decent one off the bench as well, which I know he can become a stud. So power rank is 25th. Let's simulate through November 18th, and let's just see what kind of start we're off to. Is it really going to continue to be bad, or is my theory on Jaren Jackson maybe a little correct? We'll see. So far, we're mid, so maybe this team is just truly cursed, and we don't have anything going just yet. 3-12. Man, we are just off to a piss-poor start. We cannot get anything going with this Jazz team. Maybe things turn around. We shall see. Getting some wins collected, but I'll see you guys eating the season. Maybe that gamble on that 2029 pick won't work out with the Wizards, but we'll see, man. Hopefully we can turn things around, but so far it's not looking good, dude. So not a lot to like from this season once again, as we just continue to be absolute poverty, but we finish up with an all-rookie second team representative, which is nice and all. But again, this just is not going kind of as I expected. So Ace Bailey averaged 20, 17 from Darius. I really thought this team was going to finally turn some things around here, but we're not quite there yet. Maybe one more year of progression gets us there. At least we hope so, because holy moly, I don't know what we're going to do if we are really bad again next year, but Spurs and the Knicks, and the Spurs beat the Knicks in 6 games to win a championship. So despite us not having a pick from the Wizards, we actually have some picks from, I think that trade we made for Markkanen, and then we also have another pick as well. So we're going to get pick 2. So the Wizards pick we gave them, funny enough, actually fell to 7, and we get pick 2 out of the Clippers with the Markkanen trade. So can't be too mad at that. Now, the only weird part I will say is the fact that I don't know if we have room for another prospect to come here. Although I could say, I think this is the Bamba class, and it is. So he'd be the one I'd want to take here, and that's who I'm going to take out of this. Like, there's nobody else I'd rather add. I think center position is someone, something we could eventually upgrade. So yeah, I really don't want to add another wing. I feel good about my guards as well. So hopefully number 1 overall is not going to be the center. If it is, we'll make a trade with them. But man, we really need to get something figured out, because this team has just been struggling. So the good news for us is that the Rockets do have Şengün. Let's see if that sways them away. It does. So we don't even have to worry about them taking who I wanted. So I will absolutely go ahead and select Bamba here and feel pretty good about that. I think we had another lottery pick as well at pick 9. We can take Colton Hiller here, which I wouldn't mind, or Cam Mercer, whichever one want to go with. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take Colton Hiller here. So he'll be someone that could maybe develop for us in the future. And we are going to have another early second round pick with Adrian Buchanan, but I'm not even going to sign him. So Colton Hiller, 78 overall out of the gate. And then Darius, Steinbach, Collins will accept all of those. And I think Ace Bailey is a free agent this offseason, which he is. We'll look to bring him back, and then we'll have him come back. He hasn't been, maybe he's not the guy to be like the leading scorer on this team, but someone who can just be a role player at the very least would be nice. Of course, it's not the ceiling we wanted for him, but we'll take it if that's what it requires. So the only thing I'm going to look to do here is probably trade away some guys to make room for some other players, such as Colton Hiller, who could play a little bit. I might trade Collier away, and then we might trade away Filipowski as well. Or we maybe even move. Well, it depends. We'll see. But Collier, I think I'm going to move out of here. So I'm going to trade Collier to the Denver Nuggets for Jordan Page, who could maybe develop into something at that shooting guard spot. But Colton Hiller is going to have a runway to start or be the backup point guard. Sensabaugh is here at least for a year, and maybe Page dethrones him. We'll have to see. Collins, Nathan, and then Ratliff. So I'm actually very curious on how many of these forwards are going to progress. I have no idea what to expect there. But let's go to player progression, and let's see what it looks like. So you have Ace Bailey, Keontae George, and Darius all up to an 89 overall, respectfully. Collins is up to an 86. Haynes is up to an 85. 82 Nathan Solomon. 80 Jordan Page. 79. So yeah, a lot of development, as you guys can see. And Page even jumped up a little bit more than I expected already. So yeah, this team is looking pretty promising. Unfortunately, has not turned into anything special just yet, but maybe this is the year with the 89 overalls we have, respectfully, that maybe we'll finally see something in the year of 2030. So here's what this rotation looks like for this season. So Darius Acuff, Keontae George, Ace Bailey, Christian Collins, Walker Kessler, Haynes, Nathan Solomon, Sensabaugh, Kyle Filipowski, and Jordan Page. And our second overall pick isn't even in the rotation right now, which is kind of interesting. But Filipowski will play at least this year, and Bamba should develop like crazy as we keep going. But the one thing I will say is power rank is actually high on us this year at 14th, so that might be a good sign. Finally, we're off to a rough start again. Do we have to make the playoffs this year or something? I just cannot sit here and watch this team continue to struggle. But hey, we're off to our best start so far, and maybe we have something going. Finally, it took a little bit, but we're over 500 through a month, it seems like. So I will see you guys at the end of the season. Hopefully this team is going to finally make the playoffs, please, because it's been a struggle fest. It kind of feels like a miracle, but fellas, we have finally made the damn playoffs, and we are a high seed as well here in this Western Conference. Walker Kessler is your all-defensive second team, which is just fantastic, but we are the third seed in the West. We get to play the Houston Rockets in round 1. Here were your player stats. You had 21 from Christian Collins, 19 from Ace Bailey, 17 from George, 15 from Darius with 9 assists, 12 from Nathan, 11 from Haynes, and 8 from Sensabaugh. I mean, this team has just been struggling, but we have finally broken through and made the playoffs. The playoff drought is finally over, but how far are we going to go is going to be the question. Now, the good thing for us is, of course, this team is only going to continue to just blossom and get better. So there's no pressure on us to win a championship right now. In fact, it's our first time to freaking making it in this video. So we'll see how we do in our first run here. So we got the Houston Rockets in round 1. We have Reed Shepard, Amin Thompson still, OG Anunoby, Jabari, Şengün, Hugo, AJ Mitchell, Cosby, and Diabate. So game 1 is going to go to us. We beat them by 19. Christian Collins with 30. Game 2 is going to go to us as well. 129 to 117. Şengün with 35 did not matter. And we're up 3-0 on this Rockets team, and we will sweep them. So we're off to a good start. And finally, after the drought, we actually also win a playoff series. Now we get to play the Pelicans. So let's go ahead and see what we got going on in New Orleans. So Jeremiah Fears, Caleb Holt, Sadiq Bey, Zion Williamson, Kalkbrenner is their starting center with Queen, Murray, Ivy, Missy, and Herb Jones. So I don't know. I feel like this is a team we could beat, but we'll have to see, of course. So here goes nothing. Game 1 is going to go to us. 143 to 123. 33 from Ace Bailey. 28 from Christian Collins. Game 2 is going to go to us as well. 121 to 119. Do we go up 3-0? Nope. They're going to win game 3. And they win game 4. So I guess we traded, home court advantages or whatever, because the road team has won every single time is what I'm trying to say. So let's see if we can continue that theme here in game 5. Or we're going to have to, back to the drawing board type stuff. But no, we'll pull away at the very end. Do we beat them in 6? Yes, we do. And just like that, we have made it to the conference finals already. So we go from struggling to miss the playoffs like 4 years in a row to making to the conference finals. You love 2K, man. So the Spurs have got Harper, Castle, Cam Whitmore, Stewart, Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, Braylon Mullins, Brandon McCoy. It's a good Spurs team. I mean, Mullins and McCoy off the bench is pretty solid stuff. So we'll see what happens. Game 1 is going to go to San Antonio. Game 2 is going to go to San Antonio as well. So we might not be ready to take down a team like the Spurs. But hey, we got to the conference finals with the players that we already have. So I have a good feeling about next year. So the Spurs and the Hawks. And the Hawks actually went on to beat them with Ricochet leading the way. Which, of course, his career feels like it's going to be over before it started. But yeah, he's up to 92 at least in 2K. So, and he won a championship over Wembanyama and the Spurs. So we did have a late first, and they took Henry, but these draft classes are starting to get auto-generated, so wasn't too concerned with it. Obviously, we already have a bunch of young players anyway, so I really don't know what adding another player is going to look like for us, but we got to re-sign some guys, which, of course, we will definitely be down to do. So we have quite a bit of free agents, actually. So Sensabaugh's here, which will probably let him go. George, we'll see on that one. Stein, Kessler, Darius. So yeah, there are some expensive contracts to give out. But of course, as we know, we definitely have some things to be excited about. So we have some young guards, which so technically we could probably let Keontae George go and be all right if I had to guess. But should we let him go? Probably not. Ace Bailey, Nathan, Christian Collins, and then Ratliff, and then Bamba, and then Kessler, of course, too. So yeah, I think we'll try to get Kessler back. I think he could be a really nice player to have at any point. So I'm going to look to probably sign most of these guys. So Darius, obviously, we can give him his deal. That's not a surprise. Kessler will resign as well. Or resign Haynes. Yeah, there's going to be some contracts given out. Keontae George would be the one that, like, if we lost him, it would suck. But I think we'd be okay even if we lost him. And he is asking for quite a bit of money. I'll give him a 2-year deal. Don't want to commit to him long term, but let's just keep the team as best as we can. Sensabaugh, though, I'll probably let go because of the fact we have Jordan Page. And yeah, so all right, let's go to player progression. Let's see how much better this is going to look. And you're going to have a 91 Christian Collins, a 91 Ace Bailey. George does regress quite a bit, but that's okay. He's not going to be the #1 option or anything. Darius, and then Steinbach's up, Solomon's up, Jordan Page is up to an 84, and then you got Bamba up to an 81, Colton Hiller's up. So the only guy I think I want to trade away is going to be Filipowski at this point because of the fact that I'm ready for Bamba to play a little bit this year. So let's go see what we can trade Filipowski to, and we'll see what we can get from him. So I'm going to trade Filipowski for Kinston from the Grizzlies. It's just a trade to where Bamba for sure is going to play this next season, but we were so close to making it to the finals last year. I have to think that this year could potentially be a year for us, but we'll have to see. So let's get into next season. We'll look at the rotation all together. I don't even know why I'm loading draft class. We're so late in here that there probably isn't even a good draft class loaded anymore. So let's go take a look at the rotation. So Darius Acuff, Keontae George, Ace Bailey, Christian Collins, Walker Kessler, Haynes, Solomon, Jordan Page, Colton Hiller, and Bamba off the bench. So this bench and rotation is looking damn great. We made the playoffs last year, got to the conference finals. Power Rank has the 6th overall this year. So obviously the expectation is to potentially go win a championship this year. We'll see if it works out that way. We're off to a good start. I will see you guys at the end of the season with the expectations being extremely sky high. So Jordan Page comes out here and wins Most Improved Player, and Darius Acuff won Cup MVP. So I don't know if we have any All-NBA representatives. I mean, this team is kind of stacked to the point where I feel like, no, the wealth is probably shared a little bit, so that doesn't really surprise me necessarily. Here are your player stats. You had 22 from Christian Collins, 19 from Ace Bailey, 16 and 9 from Darius Acuff, 13 from Jordan Page, 12. As you can see, we have a lot of double-digit scorers. So yeah, this team is extremely talented, and I'm definitely expecting a potential championship here. So hopefully that comes true. We are the 2nd seed in the West. We get to play the Sacramento Kings. We have Luka Doncic, and outside of Luka, there's not a lot to be excited about here, unless if they have an injury to someone. No, I mean, Bob, I don't know if he's injured, but yeah, I mean, they have Luka Doncic and nothing else, so hopefully we don't lose to them. We're up 1-0. I mean, I feel like if you just triple team Luka Doncic, we'd probably be fine. So we'll beat them in 4. That was pretty easy. That team did not look that good outside of Luka. So now we get to play the Phoenix Suns in round 2. We have Bennett, Devin Booker, Herb Jones, Cody Williams, former Jazz, Torben Sorber, Mark Williams, Lee McNeely, Rasheed Fleming, and Noah Asenge. So pretty similar boat to where I feel like this team has Devin Booker, and I'm not overly worried about anybody else. So we'll see if it works out that way. They do win game 1, though, and they won game 2. They're going to go up 3-0 on us like that. 2-2, do we win 3 straight? Yes, we do. Do we beat them in 6? Yes, we do. So that's how little worried I was about the Suns. That team did not look that good. So now to play the Spurs, who did obviously beat us last year. So we'll see how this is going to go this time around. We should probably take them super seriously. We do have an injury to Darius Acuff. Bamba's out of the rotation entirely, which kind of sucks, but his size would probably be nice to have against Wemby right now. But we'll see if we can go win game 1 on the road without him in the rotation for now. We may fix that here in a second if we don't like what we did in this game. And we are trying to get back to the end and almost did, but didn't quite make it in there. So let's see who's the 8th man off the bench, or it's Colton Hiller. I'm going to throw Bamba in there for more size just because I feel like, you know, him playing a little bit could help us out. So I'm going to see if that changes anything at all, but I think it would against a guy like Wembanyama. So let's simcast game 2. We were so close to stealing game 1. Let's see if game 2 is maybe something we can steal this time around, or the Spurs still just going to be much better than us. It's been a back and forth game, but it looks like we may have the ability to take this one. So we will take a road game, 126-111. Then we keep that exact same rotation based on the fact that we won game 2. Let's go see if we win game 3 as well. And so far, this one's looking pretty easy. We dropped 50 in the first quarter. So I think it's safe to say we've won game 3. So we find ourselves up 2-1. We'll keep that same rotation going. It's been working really well. Darius Acuff is still hurt, it looks like, which kind of sucks, but Game 4 to take a 3-1 lead on the Spurs team. Now they're not too far behind. In fact, they are going to tie it up. So, all right, Darius is getting healthy. He's not quite there yet, but we're getting closer. So, all right, they probably adjust the rotation. I'm going to throw Bamba back in there. I still feel good about him playing a little bit. So we'll do that over Colton Hiller. We're going to try to go win this game 5 on the road. We've already won once, so let's see if we can do it again. We're so close to having a 3-1 lead there, but they took it by 2 points. So let's see if we can't come out here and win game 5 on the road in San Antonio. We will. 116-110. That's a big win to get. Now we go back home. They want to adjust the rotation again, but let's just leave it the way it is and just try to win game 6 without worrying about it too much. The close game 6, but I think we ran away with it late here. Do we hang on? Yes, we do. We've made it to the final. So we take down the Spurs after they beat us last year. Now we can play the Pacers, which they have DeBonza, Halliburton, and Stephon here. Dash Daniels off the bench. They are very... And Nembhard. Damn. And Yusefu. How many guards do you need? Holy moly. So this is just guard galore over here in Indiana. But let's see if we have what it takes to take this team down. We got this far. Hopefully we can complete the process here. Game 1 does go to us. Beat them by 2. 24 from Darius. Game 2 goes to us. So far, so good. 3-0. And I think it's safe to say, and we have home court advantage in game 4 here. So I think it's safe to say that a championship is being brought to Utah here as we're going to sweep the Pacers. So yeah, that was a perfect way to get it done. So it took a while for us to get here. Man, was it a struggle, but finally got here and we took full advantage of it after 2 seasons of, or after 2 seasons of being here. So I'm going to end it there, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this rebuild. I will see y'all in the next one. This is Crushables. Enjoy the celebration if you choose to do so. I'm saying peace.